Hey, it's Meatball.
And Mark.
And this is the Rocker Morning Show on demand from 107.7 RKR. 107.7 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing good.
Fantastic. How was your trip up to Mackinac? Well, you went to just to Mackinac City, right?
Yeah, I went to Mackinac City. Didn't go to the island this time.
Yeah, that's probably for the better because it sounds like your last trip up there wasn't so great.
Well, I saw the island, and the island is like, yeah, I had lunch at the fort and everything,
Yeah.
and I toured like the museum up there. So, I saw quite a bit of the island. But this time around, I literally was going up there with the intent of get there, put on bathing suit, drink beer on beach.
You sent me a couple photos of I believe it was you on the beach, Scarlett on the beach, and then you holding a high noon on the beach. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Mark's living his best life right now.
Pretty much. That was like perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the hotel was like right on the beach.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was just, it was money. So yeah, day one went perfect. Literally that's all I did. Just drank beer on the beach. I actually there was a couple from Grand Rapids who stayed right next door to me. So I got to know them a little bit.
Nice.
They were super cool. And then watched the fireworks. That was cool.
Now, where were the
heard-
fireworks shot off from? Were they over on
Pretty
Lake
much
Huron
right
or like?
Like right in front of me.
Nice.
Like they're pretty much in Mackinac City, just east of the bridge. So, they were shooting out right in front of us, which was awesome. But it was, I was hearing like somebody said, oh, this is the biggest fireworks show in northern Michigan. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And like,
Pew, 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 pew.
it was cool, but like the grand finale was like a warm up. I thought it was like a warm up to the grand finale, and then it was just done. I was like, oh, okay. Luckily for me,
Are you saying we go harder in southern Michigan than they
way
do
harder.
up north?
Way harder. Luckily for me though, there was about 24 people shooting off fireworks on the beach.
Oh,
So it
cool.
was just nonstop. It was awesome.
Have you seen like the footage of people flying over cities and stuff while the fireworks are going off?
Yes.
Somebody shot, I think it was drone footage of Grand Rapids on the 4th of July. And it was very similar to like what they usually show in like LA or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine, God, fireworks on the beach would be so cool, man.
It was pretty wild.
Because then you get the reflection in the water too.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. Went up to St. Ignace as well. So for the first time, I drove over the Mackinac Bridge.
How was that?
Very chill.
Yeah?
Not as hyped up as people claim it to be. It's like, it's a bridge.
Did you drive on the great side or did you actually drive on the asphalt?
Asphalt's the way to go. Great, a little shaky for my liking.
Okay.
So it's a little shaky.
Were you in your little car or were you in?
Yeah, I was in a rental car.
Oh, you were in a rental. Okay.
Yeah.
I would just imagine
So-
like your little Kia Rio going over the bridge and like just rattling with every little.
No. Because it may or may not have made it.
Your car's small enough, it might have fallen through the grate on the bridge. I don't know. Well, it sounds like you had a good trip then. It was a ton of fun then.
Yeah, St. Ignace was great. I went to this place. If you're ever in St. Ignace, Java Joe's. Oof, really good. Really good breakfast. Really good coffee. Yes, and I brought home some fudge too, naturally.
Nice. Fantastic. Well, now that you mentioned coffee, I just realized I have not poured myself a cup, so I'm going to go do that. Glad you're back. Glad we get to play the Daily Five again, and glad we all have all our fingers.
Yes.
Yay! 107.7 RKR, it is the Rocket Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
So while you were up north there, you didn't happen to do any real estate looking at all?
Oh yeah, that. Of course, that's what I really wanted to go up there for is to just look through real estate.
Look through your summer homes, possible
Sure.
place to just crash,
Sure. In the affordable Mackinac Island region.
Yeah. Very rarely do homes go up for sale on Mackinac Island because most of it is like bed and breakfast and hotels. And there's a population that lives there, but I would imagine most of them try to stay away from the touristy parts of town, But there is one home that is for sale right now that I think is actually worth the price tag of $4.73 million.
Go on.
9 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms. It is exactly like if you take this tour, and we have the gallery of this home over on the Rocker app. If you take a tour of this home and you walk in, it very much is like stepping back in time. It's very ornate. The wood is very customized for the home. It has painted mural ceilings and walls and chandeliers and stuff. I mean, it is a very, very nice home. It is a multi-million-dollar home for sure. And on top of the fact that it's on a destination island, it has a driveway, which I thought was interesting, but I think they mentioned there's a carriage house in the back if you have horses.
Yeah, horseway.
Yeah, that's nice. Is that what you call it, a horseway instead of a driveway?
I think so.
A carriageway or something. But this home has one of the most incredible views I think you're ever going to find for a private residence. The front porch, when you walk out, you're literally looking out over Lake Huron. You look across the street, and there's the lake and the straits, and you can see the Mackinac Bridge from your front porch.
It's insane looking.
That view is awesome.
Yeah, I can see why it's $5 million. I'll never own this.
Would you? Okay, money's not an option in this scenario here. You want to live on Mackinac Island, which that's a whole different conversation in and of itself. Would you actually want to live there? And not have vehicles and have to deal with horses and crossing with ferries and whatnot. But say, money's not an obstacle and blah, 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 and you want to buy this house. Do you modernize it?
No, you can't do that. No, not at all.
You can't, what if you do like a mix? Like you keep the Victorian style, but you have like an 85-inch TV in the living room,
I mean, that's a different story. But yeah, you don't want to structurally make any changes to it.
No, I don't mean like knocking down walls or anything like that. I mean some of the wallpaper is very much like, this is not really my taste or choice. But I don't know, just modernize, keep the structure of the house the same, just modernize it with some technology and updated fashion type things. You know what I mean?
I think that's kind of necessary. I think that's a given. People are going to do that, but I ain't touching that thing.
I mean,
That's way too much for me.
It doesn't look like anybody touched this house or changed anything since it was built. I mean,
right.
It's a very cool house. Actually, the kitchen looks like it's been updated, which is pretty cool.
I recognize it because I've seen this house before. When I was on the island, I took a walk there.
Oh, did you really?
So I recognize the house. But man, between the $5 million price point and it just being massive for no reason, there's no reason for me to ever even consider buying this.
Can you imagine having that home with it's just you and your partner and Scarlett and Acacia? You would never see your cat again, I think. The cat would never leave the house. You would just never see your cat again.
I wouldn't even know if I would see anybody again. I might be lost in one of the 9 bedrooms. Hello? Anybody here?
It's time to turn up your dials and tune out the traffic because we're playing the Daily 5 on the Rocker Morning Show. Testing the mental magnitude of your favorite morning monkeys on the radio. And now, your hosts for the Daily 5, Meatball and Mark Frank House.
It is the Daily 5 where Mark and I ask each other questions. The other one answers. Today, Mark is asking the questions. I am answering, and I get some help on the line today from Andrea. Good morning, Andrea. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. You got to help Meatball get 3 out of 5 questions correct. If you do, he'll start the week with the 1-0 lead. If not, I will get the point for the day. All right, see what your collective brain power can make happen here. This will be a fun one today, though. Sports is your first question.
Okay.
What was the main attraction of Super Bowl I's halftime show? Did a parachuter land on the 50-yard line? Did someone wear a jetpack? Or did someone zip line from the top of the stadium to the 50-yard line?
Oh, my word.
I believe, I think the jetpack was in later years. So I think we can rule that one out.
Okay.
So either parachute in or zip line.
Let's go with parachute.
Feeling the parachute? I was kind of feeling the same way. Let's do it. Let's go parachute, final answer.
I love when you rule out the right answer.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
It was a
Oh, my
jetpack.
God.
Somebody had a jetpack and, jetpacked around the stadium.
I didn't think they had jetpacks then. I thought that was still sci-fi.
All right. All good, though.
Here's
All
what I
good.
know.
Science is question number 2.
Jetpack.
Jetpack. Good Lord.
No.
What is the second element on the periodic table? Is it oxygen, helium, or nitrogen?
I know I don't think it's oxygen. I think it's oxygen. 'Cause-
I'm trying to
Hold on.
remember because it's the number 2 element. So hydrogen, I believe, is 1 atom. So
Yeah.
that's 1. I think it's helium.
I think it's helium as well. I should know this. I'm a science teacher.
Ouch!
Wait. Which area of science though?
Health science, anatomy, medical
Okay.
technology.
That's you. You don't need to know it. Yeah.
So oxygen, helium, or nitrogen?
I think it's helium, Andrea.
Helium as well. I support that.
Okay, helium. Final answer.
It is helium.
Okay.
All right. Back to even odds. Here we go.
That's one of the noble gases.
Food. And you might get this one right.
Okay.
The Aristocrat was the original name for what burger? Is it Wendy's Triple, the BK Whopper, or McDonald's Big Mac?
Oh, frick.
My thoughts exactly, but it wasn't so PG in my head, Andrea.
Can I hear the options again, please?
Yes, the Wendy's Triple Stack, the BK Whopper, or the McDonald's Big Mac?
I feel like if it's the original name of something, McDonald's is the OG. I feel like McDonald's is the choice.
This is the Aristocrat.
The Aristocrat. I'm hard pressed to think of a time that McDonald's ever changed the name of a burger, though, you know?
Right, but they also changed the price from 15 cents.
That's
I feel
true.
like it might be-
Everybody changed prices.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's inflation
You
for
think
you.
you think it's the Big Mac?
Yes.
All right. I'm with Andrea on it. We're going Big Mac. Final answer.
It was the Big Mac.
Oh, yes.
It's not
All right.
over yet. You got to get these last 2. Entertainment.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Well, you got to get 1 out of the last 2. Happy Days was a
Okay.
spin-off from what U.S. TV show? Is it American Graffiti, the TV show, Love American Style, or Blansky's Beauties?
I've never even heard of the last one.
I haven't either. I knew this was a spin-off and I thought I knew what it was, but it's not what I thought it was.
Okay. I mean, I know there's Joni and Chachi.
Right, but that came after. That was a spin-off after the
Right.
fact, I think. So what were the first 2 again?
American Graffiti, the TV show, Love American Style, or Blansky's Beauties?
I don't
Oh my gosh.
think it was American Graffiti the series.
I'm gonna support whatever decision you make on this one.
What do you go? Go with the one that we've never heard of, Blansky's Beauties.
What the hell? Why not?
Let's do it. Final answer.
Blansky's Beauties was a spin-off, but Love American Style
Oh man.
was the original show.
Okay. So that was a spin-off of Happy Days as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. Last question. Got to get it right.
All right.
Sports.
Okay.
In the first televised baseball game, the Cincinnati Reds played what team? The New York Giants, the Brooklyn Dodgers, or the Chicago White Stockings?
Can you tell me what year
great.
this was?
No, I can't recall
Oh,
offhand. I didn't get that info. Don't blame me.
oh,
White Stockings were around, same as the New Year. So all these teams were active
Yeah.
during the time.
So the Dodgers were still in Brooklyn.
It was
can
the
you say
first.
the options again, please?
Yep. It was the first televised baseball game. The Reds played either the New York Giants, Brooklyn Dodgers, or the Chicago White Stockings, who would later
I'm gonna
become
go with
Cubs. Was it the Cubs or the White Sox?
No, it's the White Sox.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Andrea?
I don't know. Okay, so I'm sorry.
I think it's one of the New York teams. So you have either the New York Giants or the Brooklyn Dodgers.
I think it's the Dodgers.
Yes.
Because I've heard of the Dodgers, I guess, more than I've heard of the Giants.
Yeah. Well, they're both moved to.
Isn't Giants football?
Well, that's you have the New York Football Giants, and then at one time you had the New York Baseball Giants, but they're now moved to San Francisco.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Yeah. See, this is real early baseball.
Needed an answer 40 seconds ago.
I know.
Oh, geez. I can vote Dodgers. I vote Dodgers.
I'm with Andrea. Let's go Dodgers. Final answer.
Yeah, it is Dodgers. And it only took him 5 minutes to get the answer right. What's the point of
Oh,
this
my
timer
God.
anyways? Well, congratulations. You are going to see Artemis Pyle. You got a pair of tickets to the show, and Meatball starts the week off with a point.
Woo! Thank you, Andrea.
Congratulations. You're welcome, Meatball.
All right, we're going to have to extend this timer to 2 minutes, apparently.
Please do.
Seven RKR. It's a Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
And Meatball?
I found what is possibly the best place in Michigan to get a Chicago-style hot dog. Up here on the 107.7 RKR app. You know, we're known for our Coney dogs, and I think that's always going to be the biggest challenge as far as hot dogs is concerned. Is
Sure.
like, what's better, the Detroit or the Chicago? And I think both of them are great in their own respects.
Yeah.
You know, when you want something loaded with veggies to go with your meat, you go to Chicago. When you just want that comfort food,
Yeah.
Coney is the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't really consider the Chicago style hot dog a comfort food.
Ooh,
I don't-
really?
No, not really.
Oh, man.
I think that's more something that you eat when you really want to get full on it.
I mean,
Because there's so much there.
there's basically a salad on top of it.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
But it's like bar food.
Right.
Because you're talking about like hot peppers and tomatoes and stuff. It's like, it feels like something you would get at a bar, but at a ball game, you know? Like,
Yeah.
There's something about like, I don't know, man. There's something about a Chicago dog that is just, I think, superior to a lot of other styles of dogs.
It makes sense. Shorts root beer stand in Coldwater. May have to make a trip down there because this place has not only amazing looking Chicago style dogs, they also serve Coney's and Coney fries as well. Ooh. And it's like that classic drive-in diner, man. It's like straight out of the 50s.
Yeah.
It looks so good. If you've never been there before, you can check this out on the 107.7 RKR app. I'm curious what you guys think. No judgment. Give us a call right now, 978-1077. Do you prefer the Coney dog or the Chicago style dog? I know, pitting two baddies against each other. It's a tough choice.
Either way, I think we can all just agree on one thing.
It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
107.7 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
You ever heard of Singapore, Michigan?
Yeah, the legendary Singapore,
The legendary
Michigan.
Singapore, Michigan. What do you know about the town?
Well, you can't go there.
Well, you can, but
You wouldn't even know it.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it because you can literally stand on top of it, and if you're lucky, you might see the tops of a few buildings.
This is one of the weirdest stories I've heard of.
Yeah, so Singapore, Michigan, for those that don't know, this is a ghost town that more or less, Mark's kind of right, doesn't exist anymore. But if you're there in the right time, you might be able to see parts of it. It literally buried itself in sand. Founded in 1836. The founder wanted this to be this was like right outside of where Saugatuck is now. It's right at the mouth of the Kalamazoo River there on Lake Michigan. This was a lumber town and a port town that the founder wanted to be larger than the city of Chicago once it was established. And at one time, within I want to say 3 or 4 years, 1,000 people were living in Singapore, Michigan. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 1830s. That's huge. I don't even think Michigan was a state yet.
When
Not
was
quite.
this?
1836.
Ooh, we may have just become
Or
a
it was
state.
right around the time maybe that Michigan became a state. So check my date on that. But the town was established 1836. It was a lumber town, and they were quite prosperous. In fact, it was a town built on good fortune out of bad luck.
Right. And this was right before, it was less than a year before we became a state.
Okay. All right. So the town was founded. They became a lumber port and was very, very prosperous. They had multiple banks. There were actually Wildcat banks. They were printing their own banknotes. They weren't doing U.S. currency, which that's a story for another time. It's crazy. They survived the 40-year blizzard or whatever in the 1860s, I think it was, because a ship had crashed off the coast and they basically pillaged it for all of its supplies, and that's how they survived through that blizzard. But their problem is during the I think it was the 1840s, during the Chicago fires, or 1871, excuse me, I'm getting all my years wrong. 1871, Chicago fire happens, right? Chicago has to rebuild. They need a lot of wood. They need a lot of lumber. And Singapore was basically built right in the middle of a white pine forest right on the coast as a port city. So they were like, we got this. They cut down everything around them. The problem, as we know, on West Michigan is those are sandy beaches. And if you take down all the trees and plant life that hold the sandy beaches in place, the sand tends to blow and drift a bit. Mm-hmm. And the city of Singapore, within 4 years of cutting down those trees, was completely gone and buried.
So bad.
2 years after they cut down that initial line of trees, the town was evacuated except for some people that lived in, like, there was a 3-story hotel there. The last people to live in town would literally move up a floor every time the sand moved in, and then they got to the 3rd floor and the sand moved into the 3rd floor, and they were like, all right, we can't stay here anymore. So they finally left. But yeah, if you go up to Saugatuck in that area there, you can actually go walk on what remains of Singapore. And you, depending on which way the wind's blowing, you might see the top of the buildings and stuff.
It's so awesome.
It's such a crazy story. We have some photos of it. We've got the story over on the Rocker app. It's pretty crazy. It still blows my mind, though, that this guy founded this town wanting it to be bigger than Chicago. And as big as Chicago is now, you're just like, can you imagine a place called Singapore, Michigan that one day could have surpassed the size of Chicago?
That's pretty wild.
That's insane. Cool story. Check it out. It's over on the Rocker app. 107.7 RKR. It is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
I love minor league baseball so much because they seem to have more freedom to be creative and strange and stupid and weird in, like, the best possible ways, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Growlers, you know, change their name every once in a while to the Mac Daddies, and the Battle Jacks become the Donuts, and they play each other, and then you get the other Growlers hat that has the Growler beer as opposed to the bear on it, you know? I love minor league baseball because they can do stuff like that, and they can have the fun promotion nights too, right? There is a team in Eastlake, Ohio that has come up with probably the crappiest idea ever for promotion and for their ball field. But when I say crappy, I mean it in the best possible way. The Lake County Captains have teamed up with Roto-Rooter and created an entire row of seats that are nothing but toilets in their stadium.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's an entire row in their stadium that is toilets.
Please tell me this isn't in general. There's no way this is. No.
I don't think they're functioning toilets.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I was going to say, dude.
No, I don't think they flush.
Dude, not cool.
This unique seating experience, a groundbreaking first in minor league baseball, will offer fans the opportunity to enjoy the game from the comfort of deluxe high-end toilets positioned right behind home plate.
They don't flush?
I don't think so.
That's an even worse idea because that doesn't stop people from using them.
Well,
I would hope that this has, like, it's shaped like a toilet, but there isn't actually a toilet bowl because
you could see this on the Rocker app. They're toilets. They're just the front row is toilets.
I feel so bad for their fans because somebody is going to get wasted and do something really stupid.
You spend $16. Here's kind of what you get with this, okay? You spend $16 to sit in the Roto-Rooter toilet row. You get to participate in a plumber throwing contest. I think that's supposed to be a plunger throwing contest. And you'll have a personal bathroom attendant.
You didn't even need to say this was in Ohio. People could just guess it.
You got to be careful though with how much beer you drink while you're sitting in these seats, though, Mark, because you might get tanked.
No.
Sorry, that was a crap.
1077 RKR. It's a Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
And Meatball.
Just want to give a heads up here. There's a little bit of a traffic alert. Saw that there was a trash truck that was flipped over on US 131 southbound, just south of West River Drive. So traffic is down to one lane. So just keep an eye out for that if you're heading on 131 south. I know it's really backed up near Schoolcraft. So just a heads up on that. Man, there are some gross foods that people eat. If you open up the
Speaking of garbage,
the 1077 RKR app, we were talking about the toilets at the Ohio Stadium. There are some really gross foods that people eat. And I kind of go through this in a little bit of a gallery on the 1077 RKR app because I'm generally concerned for people's taste buds. And I'll be honest with you, I've had a few of these before, and I can confirm just how gross they are.
yeah. Like, okay, what's on this list then that's so gross?
One thing that I've had, and my mom loves this, liverwurst.
Ugh, no.
What the trash is a liverwurst? It's like worse bologna.
Yeah, it's like bologna made from liver meat, isn't it?
Oh,
Or something
I don't know.
yeah. I just know that the texture is like really smooth.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, a bologna or something that actually has some bite and chew to it. I can't do that because I'm a texture eater. I can't do liverwurst.
Oh my, it's like spreadable meat. Another weird thing that people eat too, Vienna sausage.
See, I'm a Vienna sausage person. I won't eat them cold. Like I won't just like open the can and eat them. Like I'll put them in a pan and just, grill them up for a second, a little mustard on them. They're pretty good.
That's like if you want a hot dog but don't want a good hot dog.
I mean, yeah, we make radio money, Mark.
Another thing that is kind of terrifying is canned salmon.
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't do anything but fresh fish.
Fish in general is a little sketchy.
Yeah. Spam. This is another one that's just like,
what? You can't do Spam?
ugh,
Dude.
why?
I love Spam. I will not eat it cold because like the jelly gelatinous fat, that's around it in the can, not a big fan of that. But if you take Spam and like slice it up or cube it up or whatever, one of the best things ever is you do like fried Spam with some pineapple and like a Polynesian type sauce. And you put that over rice.
What?
Oh my God, it is so good, dude. Like Spam is like it's like the state food of Hawaii or something.
Hawaii.
Put Spam in eggs, like fry up some Spam and put it in eggs, fried Spam sandwiches and stuff. Oh my God, dude. If you fry it, like if you cook it, it's great. It is wonderful, Mark.
Man, Meatball apparently is the spokesperson for Spam.
Oh.
No thanks. Pickled herring.
No, we're not.
I had this once
Blech.
and it was god awful. Raw oysters. Who's eating this crap other than rich people for some reason?
I get oysters when I go down to Florida, but they're usually like Rockefeller or something. Like they've got all the stuff on them. So
you visit this on the 1077 RKR app. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're like Meatball and you're just a diehard Spam fan, you can hit us up at 978-1077. You two can just flirt over Spam.
I'll gladly flirt over Spam as long as we don't have to talk about head cheese because I see that on the list too.
No.
Nope.
That's a crime against cheese.
It's a crime against anything. It's named head cheese. 1077 RKR. It is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
I don't know if you saw this morning, Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas, down there in South Texas. So anybody who's got family and friends down there, just keep an eye on them, keep in contact with them. They're talking about some possible power outages. Texas doesn't exactly have a great power grid to begin with. But yeah, just keep an eye on your friends and stuff down there. But Beryl, now that it's made landfall, is pretty much just going to make its way across the U.S. It's just going to roll through. Normally, these storms would kind of like hook up into, the northern part of like SEC country and then just turn into weather or whatever. They're predicting that this could still potentially be a tropical type system and track its way up into Indiana, Ohio, and maybe Michigan.
Ooh, yeah. I hate when those storms fly up.
Yeah. This is it's interesting because like this storm remained stronger, I think, than they thought it was going to the entire time it was in the Gulf. And you know, a lot of people talk about there's never been a hurricane in Michigan, but they have had tropical systems that come up through Michigan before in the past. In fact, there have been some that kind of got up to like Lake Michigan, you know, and gained a little steam there or whatever. Have you ever heard of like a brownwater storm?
What is that exactly?
So this happened one year when I was actually camping outside during a rock festival in Oklahoma.
Ooh.
There was a hurricane that came in Texas, and it got to North Texas. It kind of, the storm was basically a tropical depression. It was just kind of a low basically at that point when it got to North Texas. But Oklahoma had received so much rain and it was so hot that the storm system did exactly what it does in the Gulf, and that's it took the humidity from the air and from the ground and used it as strength to get stronger. So the storm that was a hurricane that made landfall and then turned into just a tropical depression or turned into like a tropical, you know, system or whatever, North Texas, actually gained strength when it went across Oklahoma because of the groundwater, basically, and turned into a stronger storm when it came across Oklahoma. They're saying this storm could kind of stay together all the way up into the upper Midwest because of all the rain that's been happening in the West there. So it might kind of hold its shape and some storm characteristics when it gets up to our area.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah. This could be really fun.
No, not at all. We don't need any of that crap.
No, they're only predicting like they're predicting it to go across Indiana, more into Ohio and more like southeast Michigan if it comes through here. But the storm's probably only going to have winds of like 40 mile an hour. It's mostly going to be just kind of rain and whatnot by the time it gets here. But it is still kind of interesting that tropical system, you know, is going to be strong enough that it could potentially make its way all the way up here.
Yeah, that'd be kind of dangerous. Hopefully it dies down a little bit because we've had enough of storms already.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know how about the tornado that we just had?
Well, I get that. I understand that. But
how about the tsunami event that we just had in Holland? We don't need the bingo with the hurricane, Meatball.
we get an earthquake. I think that is a